In this video I'm going to try and describe one of the hardest concepts that's really to get across. Some of the ideas will be easy enough to understand or recognize, but what I have to quantify in this is that we as humans are limited on that retrospection, on the ability to actually understand how deep and the true meaning of that is. And that's the concept of God. What generally people think of when they think of God in the religious context has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. To me, after seeing the universe through the experiences and understanding I have, those types of gods are very small. Infinite God, an infinite being, is something that, again, I can't say we can comprehend just as eternity. The infinity of that type of existence, and more to the point, the being itself, because we are limited within our human framework. I have to work through this brain. It's a good analytical processor, but it is only so good. It has some experiences that it can try to describe and put cognitive information out there in a reliable enough way to get the idea across. But that idea, even at this understanding, is very limited, very vague. So I will have to describe it in the human terms I can, using such words as eternity. As you know, I use the word all that is for my understanding of what that source, universe, creator is. When we say the universe, sometimes we limit it to physical reality, and my belief is that it is far, far larger than one physical reality that is, again, infinite. And in that, it's undescribable. It could be more realities and infinite realities. It could be this reality and infinite, as it seems to be when we look into space. So we'll be limited on that, but I will try and get the concept, the idea of all that is, as far as I've been able to understand it. And we've all heard that if there was a consciousness, a being, and that was the seed, that was the start, and within that being comes all things. Now, to understand that true being, we can't. We place a human consciousness on it, and I can tell you that it is much more than that we can comprehend in that way. It's thoughts, if we can call them that. It's ideas, the whole process. There's also the concept that it is outside of space and time entirely. Matter of fact, by my viewpoint, space and time is within it. There is no space, and that contents of space is within that mind. To try and get a grasp of this and understand it, if you think of your own consciousness, and we take away the body, the universe, the space, everything, but that consciousness, there is no space that holds it. It simply is an existence. That's the kind of concept. There is no space where this exists. Space actually exists within the concept of the being. Now there are various viewpoints on the whole idea of how we've come about hierarchies of consciousness. Basically, a body, an inner self, a soul, an oversoul, higher soul, entity, all created from the source. I don't know about that hierarchy. I'm sure that some of it exists. I know that I exist more than a body, and I know that my body exists. I know that there are functions within the body which are kept in check and working through another portion of my physiology, biology, or subconscious, and all of those that I'm not aware of. So there is some truth to that. The point I wanted to get to is that the awareness, that seems, from my point, to be a direct connection to that all, which is all that is. It is awareness. It is the beingness that is through us as being. Hard to describe what I'm trying to get across here, but each of you know it by your own self-awareness, your own beingness. It is not mind, it is beingness. If we put this into terms that we might in human forms, we could say that there was a consciousness. And again, human consciousness is so limited to understand this. It existed, it knew, it had thought. And within that, the ideas themselves were part of this, since there was nothing else, is nothing else but all that is. So the idea was part of all that is. And every ideas that continued to compound were all inside and part of all that is. There is nothing outside. There is nothing else. All that is the only thing. Its idea in time and space may have come from the relationship of an idea to another, and some way of separating these things that may appear different, and that came a duality ideas. I can't tell you if it took over time any of these things, or if there is any concept of time within the dimension that this being is and has its existence. Those are things beyond our comprehension that we just can't get to. But the results are a reality that it could use to experience. And that's what we're here for.